Hey, it's April from the Noble Garden, and today is July 24, 2022, and this is my 8th garden tour of this season, and the garden is still huge. It's still got lots of going on, lots of life going on, but lots of disease. The closer I get to August with this humidity and the thunderstorms almost every day, that's just a cocktail for fungus and bacteria to just take over the plants. As we go along, we are going to be harvesting some, and I'm going to be showing you some disease. I'm not going to rip up plants on camera, but I'm going to talk to you about what plants have had it. I do live in the western Piedmont of North Carolina. My zone is 7B. I have a long growing season, so I'm taking things out, but I will be replacing things, and I'll be talking about what I replace. The first thing I want to show you guys right quick is my harvest apron. My mother-in-law made this for me, and I just want to show it to you because it is awesome. This is my harvest apron. It has pockets here, and I love to hold my cell phone or my scissors in it when I'm harvesting. The other thing it has this gigantic pocket, and this is where I put my vegetables. It does have a zipper on the bottom that holds them in, but the other thing I like to do, just to make it easier to hold them, is she got me little latches here that I just buckle here. And that way it holds it. And once I'm done, I just unzip it, and I'm able to put the harvest on the counter, the table. This just gives me my hands back, as you know how it feels carrying a basket around and some scissors or pruners and trying to harvest everything. So I really, really enjoyed this, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So let's go ahead and get started on this garden tour. So we always start with these cucumbers. They have reached the top, which is awesome. However, I'm going to show you up close what their leaves look like. This is Powdery Mildew, and as you can see, it makes it eventually crunchy. And this plant, it has given me so many cucumbers. It's not funny. I actually have a few now that I still need to get. You can see that guy in there. But it's on its last legs, and it's coming up this week. I did start another one over here that never really got started good, but it already has Powdery Mildew, so I don't really know what it's going to do. But I will go ahead and put new seeds in. This cucumbers is one that I can plant and get plenty before the frost comes. And these are my squash plants, which this group of squash plants look really, really good. And there's my zucchini. This is a newer zucchini that I put in that's doing good. And then you're going to notice after the zucchini, there's nothing but flowers. This right here is the cucumber. We have harvested 2 out of just what little bits there. We're not impressed with it. It isn't bad. It doesn't taste bad. The cucumber takes a lot of room up in the garden, and my whole purpose of the cucumber was to replace squash and zucchini if I needed to. I don't need to. The plant's ridiculous. We're going to take the plant out, and I'm going to re-sow it with something different. Haven't really made my mind up yet. It could be cucumbers again. I thought about green beans, but I'm not quite sure yet what I want to do with that space. But that is pretty cool. One plant that doesn't get enough of attention in my garden that is doing good is my peppers. I'm going to open this up and kind of show you. Look at that, guys. Now this is a yellow pepper, so I am waiting for these to turn yellow, and it does take a little bit of time, but the plants are really loaded with peppers. As you can see, there's some more right there. The next group is what I call this is the chocolate pepper, same thing, it's loaded, but I'm waiting for them to turn this really pretty brown. The next group after that is California. So California, I can decide to do 2 different ways. I can harvest them green like this if I needed them, or I could wait and let them turn red. And then these guys right here are called Jimmy Nardinas. They're a sweet red. And this plant is loaded, and I just wait for these to turn red, and then they're good to eat. The next one is the habanada, which is the sweet version of a habanera. So it's not going to be spicy, it's just sweet. However, it had a little struggle, and I really haven't stuck my hands in there to even see what's really going on in there, if there's even any peppers. And this is my, oh guys, I'm sorry. This is my Cuckoo Melon. I know it needs to be harvested. It is a chore to harvest because they're so tiny. I can show you how tiny they are. Of course, you guys can't see that. Let me show you how tiny these guys are. So here's an example. They actually get a little bigger than that. But I do need to harvest some. I'll show you some actually that are the perfect size. Here we guys go. That one's more of a better size. They actually get a little bigger than that too. So I do need to come in and harvest that. One thing you're going to notice, gone, there used to be a cucumber here. It was just loaded with that downy mildew, so I just couldn't do it anymore. My Armenians are a perfect example, actually. And that is coming down. As you can see, I do have some to harvest. So I'm going to harvest these last few Armenians. And then that plant's coming down, and I can resow Armenians as well. So I have one here, got one there, and I've got one there. Actually, I've got 4 I can see right now. This side right here, you mainly can see some green bean plants. I picked green beans yesterday, but as I sit here and look at the plant, I can tell that I've got a few more to grow. This right here, guys, is the rattlesnake green bean. And they're supposed to be green and purple like this. And the more sun they get, I've noticed that they're more purple. Like, for example, that. You see how purple that one is because it's got more sun. But, yeah, they actually have a really, really good taste to them. But as they cook, they actually just turn into green. You don't see the purple anymore, which I think is pretty cool. One of my squash plants here. We're going to get these couple squash off right quick. So this is about the size I've been picking them lately. You can also let them get bigger. Just depends on what texture you want them in. The smaller they are, the fruit's softer. The bigger they are, the fruit is harder, of course. I think that this squash plant has had it. So I'm going to harvest these last 2, and we're going to take this plant up. I'm also leaving space in the garden, guys, because the fall garden is coming into play. So here's a couple more squash. This plant on the ground here is actually still the Armenian. It kind of flew over on the back. This is the watermelon bed. It's going to take a little bit of time because it is the youngest of the beds. Look how beautiful my asparagus is doing. Now these are the new squash and zucchini. And this is kind of what I was talking about, guys. That space that I'm taking those 2 the zucchini out I'm talking about, I'm going to probably leave it blank because I want to give it room. I want to have room for other plants. And I did start another bed. This bed has 3 or 4 zucchini and squash each. So it will replace anything that I'm taking out. And it's actually, you know, I've gotten pretty big, and you can start seeing that it's going to start flowering soon. So I'm not too worried about taking those out and not having anything else. So I can show you. I know for a fact. See, there is a young squash there. Guys, in case you never saw one of my videos, if you go around looking at your plants and you said this is, sorry, there's ants on there. This, guys, is squash bug eggs. And these guys are a pain in my butt. So every time I see this, I take their eggs off. Try really hard not to get them on the soil and get them on the ground so that they still can't hatch and I step on them. Anytime you see that, guys, pick them off. So this is the back wall of the green beans. They are finally coming into play. Of course, you can see the back end of that squash plants too. This squash plant has given me so many squash, but I do see that it's starting to struggle a little bit. Let's get this squash off. And I don't really see any new flowers or blossoms on it, so it's actually probably coming close to its end of life too. Can't complain though, it's given me lots of fruit. There's some more green beans. Over here, you're going to see my ground cherry. So the ground cherries really haven't wooed us. We are going to take it out. It's covered in fruit. It makes me feel sad. But I really want to grow things that we like. That's why we're taking the zucchini out. We're taking out the ground cherries, just so that we could put things in the ground that we like to eat. This right here is the other side where I got more zucchini growing. Let's see if there's any babies in there. They've been at the bottom lately because it's spilled over. Off the top of my eyes, I don't see anything. Actually, I lie. There's one right there. I will grab it. Most of the time I need scissors for this, so that's why I'm not touching it, because I got the camera in my hand too. But here's one. There's one right there growing. You see the little one? We'll get that big one off for sure. And then, guys, this is my sweet potatoes. And they are starting to flower, and I think they have like the prettiest flowers. Let me show you what their flowers look like. Aren't those gorgeous? They're just so pretty. And the plant is huge, and it is wild, and it is crazy. And I hope that I have me a lot of sweet potatoes growing under there. So I have a sunflower down, guys. No clue why. I don't know why it's down. We could pick it back up. But it is pretty. Poor guy. Guys, when it comes to this corn, it's really not tall enough. And you can see the ears. And they're just not big enough. Like, look how small these ears are. Corn has never been my thing. I'll try again until I get it right. That's what gardening's all about, right? Figuring it out. But, yeah, it just does not feel like it's got kernels in it. That's okay. It is what it is. It's a learning experience. That's how I feel. Look, guys, there's another squash that we need to get off. All right, we're going into the okra. So my okra has not actually produced yet. I'm always looking in there because, you know, okra is one of those things, once it starts producing, it is wild and crazy. But I haven't even seen it bloom flowers, guys. But it is big. There's a bunch right there. It's probably coming soon. So here are some more cucumbers. And as I'm looking at it, it already has that disease as well. Honestly, guys, it is probably too hot for cucumbers. I just keep trying. And I'll keep trying. I do spray it with copper fungicide every 1 to 2 weeks. And then on this end's another cucumber. This is the straight 8. It does have a baby on it. I'm going to let it get a little bit bigger before I cut it off. On the side beside it is Honeydew. You can see a baby or two growing right there. There's one there. There's one there. Look, guys, there's one right there. It's always exciting to see fruit. We're going to turn around and look at some other one. Now, guys, this is my Kajari Melon. And it is exciting because I see them everywhere, guys. Look at this. Is that not awesome? They are all over the place. This week, I'm going to actually release a video on how to pin these to the fence, because these actually, I'm just kind of showing you, they're everywhere, will fall off to the ground when they're ripe enough, and I don't want them splitting on the ground, of course. So I will make a video showing you how I pin fruit like this to the fence so that it falls off in a bag instead of falling off on the ground so it doesn't bust. I have another squash plant here. I kind of have squash plants in holes. I put them in holes where I needed something to grow. These are my mini bells. These are the plants that were struggling really, really bad earlier this year that have now recovered. And you can see they have babies on them. And when they turn, like that one's not going to turn any other color, so that one's ready to pick. They come in different colors. Like here's a little red one. They're so tiny. I didn't expect them to be this tiny. I can't really see that one. Yeah, that one's red. That's a red one. This right here is another cucumber. Now, this right here is the Muncher Cucumber. And they're not supposed to get that big. Like, it is totally fine to harvest it this size. However, because it takes me forever to get out here sometimes, I have been harvesting more this size. See if I can pick this one off. And they're so tasty. Like, they don't get that big. But they're tasty. They're really watery. Here's another back view of my sweet potatoes. And then this is more peppers that are finally doing pretty darn good. And so this right here, guys, is my Indeterminate cherry tomatoes that I ran a room with, and they're wild and they're crazy. I did not cut their suckers off very well. I did not prune them very well. I didn't tie them up very well, so they're just wild. So this is kind of what a tomato plant would look like if you were not to intervene and do much management to it. Wild and crazy, but I'm going to let it do its thing. Now we're into the noodle beans. I want to show you this. Is that not cool? Now, some of these are getting a little overripe. And my issue with them is I'm short. And I have a step stool somewhere I need to locate. Because I can't get this off. And my husband is short for a guy. And he can't reach me either. So we're in a dilemma. But I will be on the mission to look for that ladder today. Because the other thing I can do, and what I'm probably going to do, and I mean I got this size, I'm actually going to leave it on the plant. Because this will turn into seeds. And I'm actually short on these seeds. So if I just let this get crispy, really crispy, and let the seeds ripen, I can use the seeds next year to plant. Look how pretty the red ones turned out. They're like red and green. And we have not noticed really a taste difference. So I kind of just like them for the variety of color. And they're just like the other beans. You cook them, they turn green. And remember, noodle beans you cannot boil or steam. You can pickle, and we stir fry, and you can roast. So let's go down this tomato aisles. So these are mainly my Indeterminates. This one right here is Carolina Gold. It is hand down our favorite tomato. And as I'm looking at it, I most definitely can see I've got some picking to do. They get a really pretty gold, like this one, yellow. That one's like a really good one there. There's actually, this one's even better. Look how pretty yellow that is. And we love them. They're so sweet. So good. So mild in acid. And this is why I like them, because I have acid reflux. So we'll go down here. So the Indeterminate, I'm so sorry, guys. These are Determinate. The Determinates, they grow to a certain height and they only produce a certain much. And they usually ripen all around the same time. And that is why you are seeing, like this one right here is my marigold. You see how almost every single one of them are ripening around the same time. And you saw that on my Carolina Gold, and that is normal. That is what they do. I did not do a good job, however, controlling these either. I'm just not a good floor weaver. My garden's too big. I'm too busy between this and work and other things in life. I just cannot floor to weave. So next year, these will be on cattle panels, just like the ones behind me. But my tomato plants have been on point. Now, this one right here we're getting to is Indeterminate. This is the early girl. And as you can see, it is just all on the ground because my Florida weaving methods did not help it out very well. We're going to turn around and we're going to look at some slicers. So guys, this is my Dr. Witchy, which I can announce I have officially been eating several Dr. Witchies, and I've been the happiest person on the planet. This is the Dr. Witchy sucker that I turned into a plant, that you guys watched me turn into a plant, and it has done great. But look at how loaded this is. And we have been harvesting, and we have been We have been canning tomato sauce and salsa, and we're going to do pizza sauce today. But look at this big one right here. This is German Johnson. That's one of my big ones. We'll be weighing that one. Look how big this one is. That's my big boy. We'll be most definitely weighing that guy. But my tomatoes are doing good. I did come out and I cut off a lot of diseased leaves. You can still see the disease on some of it. Like my Amish paste right there, they're having a little trouble with it. There is blight going on, and there's not much I can do about it. It's just the type of weather we're getting. If you ever want to know what blight is. And then the curling that you see is just them struggling with the heat because it has been really, really hot lately. So this is my Indeterminate cherry tomatoes, and as you can see, they have gotten so tall that they are going over the fence, and we're just having trouble with them. This is awesome. Like, look at this aisle here. We have never been this successful with tomatoes, so it is very, very nice to see, even though they're taller than I am, and I am most definitely going to end up needing my ladder for this. So this, you're going to notice a lot of leaves are missing, and that is because I came out and I trimmed up blight. But that is okay. They have plenty of leaves above. They'll be fine. So my husband's favorite tomato are these. And they get more red than this. But you notice the blue top. These are blueberry. They're really good. Here's one that's done. I'm not the biggest fan of them. Here's one that's ripe. See, it gets really red. And it's kind of, well, actually, I can get more purple than that. I'm not the biggest fan of them. They're a little too tarty for me. I'm more of a sweet girl. Let me show you this one. And this one is called a blueberry cream. So it has a blue top, but it's more yellow on the bottom. These are sweet. I actually really like those. They're really sweet. But my cherry tomatoes are loaded. I don't know how well you can see because the sun's bright. But we have not been short on cherry tomatoes. These are my slicers. And this is the turkey line. So turkey green, turkey chocolate, turkey purple. They are all very delicious and very loaded. I actually have some turkey purples right here that are ready to go inside that I will be harvesting. I harvest tomatoes last because you don't want to put tomatoes on top of each other because it actually will smush them because they're really soft. So I'll come back and get these after I'm done harvesting the rest. Look what I found. I found my step stool. And I feel silly because I've been searching everywhere for it. And the whole time, it was literally in my face right behind my cherry tomato aisle. Boy. Boy, boy, boy. All right, so from a distance, guys, you can see how wild and crazy my watermelon and cantaloupes have gotten. We do have watermelon growing, and we have plenty of cantaloupe growing. I'm going to show you my biggest watermelon, because to find the other watermelon babies, I actually have to dig. But this guy, I can easily find and easily share. See him? Yum, yum. And then these are my cantaloupes. Guys, there's plenty of babies to show you in here. They're everywhere too. All I gotta do is pull back a leaf and you're gonna find one. It's pretty awesome. So there you guys have it. There's the garden tour. It's a little bit longer than usual. You got to watch me harvest. You got to see disease. You got to see kind of what's really going on in my garden. It's a busy time between trying to keep the garden alive as possible and then also harvesting, which we have to harvest every morning and sometimes turn around and harvest at night. And then during the day, we are processing almost all day between tomatoes and cucumbers. Like, our cucumber harvest has been insane. So we have so much pickles. But I did make a video of a kitchen day that I'm releasing on Tuesday. So watch out for that. On Tuesday at 5 o'clock, you can watch a kitchen day. Kind of goes over kind of the typical day in the kitchen, showing you kind of what I do. I do thank you guys for supporting me and watching my videos, and I hope you liked it. If you like my videos, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.